Whoa, shit. Today we're going to talk Stellar news as well as the Bank of International Settlements saying you should have cryptocurrency in your bank. Oh, that was interesting. We're also going to talk about the SEC asleep at the wheel during the FTX saga. Let's get into it, everyone. She's a very accomplished hunting as well as climbing dog. Her and I take alternate routes to 13ers and 14ers when her and I travel to Colorado. But enough of this, let's get into the heat map. Heat map right now, Bitcoin and Ethereum are both below crucial levels. Ethereum under that 1200 mark at 1174, in Bitcoin under 17 at 16685. No major events pulling it down other than Binance's company that's attesting to their finances is like, hey, we're not touching you with the 10-foot pole. And you also have Jerome Powell and the Fed out there saying, hey, look, things are going to be a little rough here 2023, 2024. That's not what we're here to talk about. What we're here to talk about is the SEC asleep at the wheel, and this coming from Representative Sessions. Now, got to be honest with you, Gary Gensler was so proud out there saying, hey, there was no fallout to the United States with FTX. Then we find out that 2% of the funds actually were from the United States. Now we also find out that banks were tied into this. Yes, everyone. Publicly traded companies had crypto exposure. And Gary Gensler now, it just looks like he's missing the boat on this. He missed FTX. Well, he obviously missed Silvergate. Silvergate faces a lawsuit for aiding and abetting FTX fraud. That's right. FTX failed in its due diligence. Yep, it continued that the defendants breached their own KYC AML duties with respect to FTX and Alameda. So they're basically saying, hey, look, Silvergate, you didn't even verify who you were doing business with, so now we're going to go after you. And honestly, Gary Gensler out there has to be, we got to be looking at Gary Gensler and being like, you know what, dude, seriously, you're missing so many things. Mashinsky was out there offering 20 to 30% publicly. He also publicly was saying that he had FDIC insurance for like 2 years. So, I mean, there's bad actors out there that have been being bad actors now for years, and the SEC is not catching them. By the way, as always, any article you see in this video will be linked in the description below. Here is the actual lawsuit against Silvergate Bank. In fact, we can deep dive into their financials if there's enough request from the audience. Here's what their stock looks like, and remember, they were built heavily around crypto. You can see, I mean, they have gone down significantly here over the last year. So Silvergate, one of the big fallouts in the United States from the FTX saga. Now, BIS came out, Bank of International Settlements, one of their arms came out and said that they think banks should have 2% of reserves in Bitcoin. That's very bullish news for the crypto community. Banks could soon drive the next wave of Bitcoin and crypto adoption. A new rule suggested by the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision, the BCBS, will allow banks to hold up to 2% of their reserves in Bitcoin. That's kind of cool, everyone, because this is from the Bank of International Settlements. I mean, let's be honest here. They've been involved with a lot of cryptocurrency projects here as of late, some of them even including Stellar. So seeing that now they're saying, hey, you know what, 2%, we think that's a good number. I don't mind that. You got to dip your toes in the water sooner or later when it comes to big institutional money, and getting a nod from the BIS is a good thing. By the way, here's their paperwork regarding it. Again, stuff like this, if you want to read more and get more in depth on it, you're welcome to do so. It'll all be linked in the description below. Stellar aid, that's right. Stellar in helping now with the Ukraine MoneyGram partnership. The rails are proving to be useful. Now, I don't want to get lost with the weeds of heavy numbers on this. I want to bring to you an idea. Legitimacy. Think of who they're partnering with here. All right, this is UN humanitarian stuff. That's legitimate. That's legitimate use case. That's legitimate partnerships right there. We're not talking funny money where we've got FTX, Alameda, or Binance doing shady stuff with it. No. This is the UN, and this is Stellar with the help of MoneyGram, Vibrant Wallet. All right, there's a legitimacy. This is a different class of programs. And don't get me wrong, I think it's great that they're able to give aid instantaneously to people in need. But I think this program isn't just limited to the Ukraine. This program is limited to anyone that can use it, any crisis humanitarian offer that comes up. Not just wartime, but think also of, bad weather events, cyclones, hurricanes, floods. We can use this in any country that has those MoneyGrams rails set up, as long as the government gives us the old, yay, you're good to go. Everything's being done, above board here. And these partnerships are important. I mean, it's the UN, everyone. How many other blockchains out there have ties with the UN, an organization like that that's not only global, but honestly is on the side of good. And I understand, you're right, every organization has done stuff we want to question. I get that. But as a whole, the UN is on like the good side of things. So let's sum all this up and just piece everything together. You've got Stellar working with a massive legitimate organization out there. Yeah, I'll label the UN as an organization. You've got Bank of International Settlement saying, hey, you know what? Dip your toes in the water with 2% of your reserves held in Bitcoin. Okay. Bitcoin representative of the entire crypto market. So don't just think of Bitcoin, think of other cryptocurrencies. We also have Gary Gensler in the SEC missing a bunch of things out there. Gary, if your job is to protect the public, then why are so many of these big ones going, just falling through the cracks? Yeah, I get it. The SEC is doing a good job busting someone here who got caught with 15 million of Ponzi in this, or 30 million in this, or wire transfer securities fraud. I get that. But you've got billion-dollar behemoths out there that are blatantly breaking laws and you're missing it. That's where you could help even more people, where you could have a better impact on the market. We need actors like Gary Gensler. And Benham out there, let's not leave him alone, all right? Benham has got to step up his game as well, too. There's some big, obvious wrongs out there in the crypto community that we need to see get fixed by regulatory bodies. We also need to see the government out there work with these regulatory bodies and say, hey, guess what? Before we go further, can we determine what a commodity versus security is? We can't go that far until we determine what the stuff is. Either way, it's awesome to see that building for Stellar is continuing even outside the United States with a program that has a global reach. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you cool cats later. Outro with my dog.
I'm taking shots at the enemy. I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak. Turn it up a new degree, bitch, you ain't seen anything. I pop off with the new rock.